Hey guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm playing with the Amaryllis collection by Yana Smakula from Spellbinders. This stuff is gorgeous, and to be honest, some of this stuff is so easy, it can make mass producing your cards if you don't decide to do little extras like I tend to do to them. Yeah, this can make mass producing super easy. First, we've got the Home for Christmas sentiments. So we've got Merry Christmas, Let It Snow, The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, Joy to the World, Happy Holidays, Season's Greetings, I'll Be Home for Christmas. I think that might be all of them. So we've got 8 different sentiments. Love this. And because it's a better press, that means you can get a perfect stamping really quick and easy. Plus you can foil these. So that I've got my foil machine over to the side heating up. So I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do. This also has a bubble cut to go around it. So it's going to die cut everything out perfectly. So you don't have to worry about trying to fussy cut around that pretty script. Yeah, this is lovely. So I'm loving that. We've got the Yana's Amaryllis etched dies. Okay, so this is super pretty too. So just looking close at it, we've got a couple of leaves, we've got a bud, and then we've got the full bloom of the Amaryllis. I used to get Amaryllis and bring them home and such, and stopped doing that because it turned out that it was making the cats sick because they were trying to eat it. So we haven't had them in the house for a long time. But these come in all sorts of different colors, and I always found them actually at the grocery store of all places. So it was real easy to get the flowers. Anyway, these are going to be really pretty for Christmas as well. So you've got that lovely bloom. But this, yeah, this one is this one, it says hot foils. This is a better press plate. This one is called Festive Poinsettias. And see all of those? Love it. Love it. But wait, there's more. You can get the stencil to go with it that makes coloring these guys super easy. So I am really looking forward to doing that one. And I think I'm going to try it on some hot foil as well. I'm going to get a bunch of my Christmas cards done today. How about that? So that is super fun. Then we've got the Amaryllis Garden embossing folder. Now this is the part that I've already done a little bit of playing with. Yeah. So I've already done a few panels, different types of coloring. I don't even remember what I did on them. So, okay, so what I wound up doing with all of these is I inked the embossing folder itself. So this is where I inked it with the flat section like what I normally do, and that turned out super lovely. And that's the same that I did with this one, but this one I added some color to the flowers too, so it gives you a completely different look. Okay, so this one's kind of almost monochromatic. This one's got a little extra color to go with those flowers. This one is the same kind of thing where I've got a darker color in the background and then I added some lighter color in the front. And this is just me goofing around and trying out a technique. So play guys, you can use the cards that you make, you can use the panels that you make, or you can trash them. It's totally up to you because this is playtime and practice time. Okay, this one, yeah, this, I love the way that this one turned out. I wound up just coloring the top layer on, yeah, this was one that was, I wound up adding ink to the layer over the top, and I've done that before, and I think it turned out real pretty, but instead of using just straight the ink pad, I wound up using blending brush to get different colors in different areas, so that turned out just lovely, and it is actually brighter than what you're seeing on screen. And then this one, I added the color to the background. It's like I basically did the same as this, but flipped it over into the deboss side and added the color in all of the raised areas. So there are lots of ways that you can use your embossing folders. I'm not going to get into that right now on this video, but if this is something that you're interested in seeing, let me know down in the comments, and we can either do multiple videos or live streams where we can just play and experiment and see what kind of ways we can use our embossing folders. So I'm going to put that up to the side. These are going to be some great backgrounds, and to be honest, I'm thinking just the sentiments on here would be perfect for a card. Okay, so my glimmer system is ready to go. I've also got my better press. I'll probably bring that out as well, but I'm really wanting to play with this one with foil. We're going to see how that one turns out. This is a big plate. You can see it. It is a big plate. All of the black on here, all of the flat area is what's going to wind up with foil on it. So we're going to put it down this way onto our heat press and let that start heating up because it is going to take a little bit. And next I'm going to grab out some foil. I'm not sure what color I'm going to go with. I may try this on a couple of different ones. I'm going to go grab some foil while this is heating up, and then we're going to get started doing some foiling. Okay, this foil is lovely. I am just trimming some of this off to the size of an A2 card panel. This one is called Speckled Aura. And then I'm going to flip it. So it's going to be shiny side down onto my heat press. Now, the way that this works is that the gray side has got the adhesive, and that is the part you want to be touching your card. If you flip it the other way, let's say you do it like this, you're going to wind up with all of that shiny goodness on your plate, on your glimmer plate, or on your, in this case, better press plate. And that's fine. It will come right off with acetone. But anyway, let's go ahead and put that down. Then I'm going to cover it with my thin shim and my spacer pad. And then we're going to hit the button and let it finish heating up. Also, since this one is is really big, I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. Shut it back on, turn it back on, let it heat up again to reheat all of that to make sure that it's nice and hot so it will transfer well. Okay, so now we're going to take out our die cutting machine and we're going to run that through. So I'm using my Spellbinders Platinum 6. I'm just going to take the heat platform out of the base and run this right through my die cutting machine. And that heat combined with the pressure from this is what's going to do the transfer. Okay, you don't usually want to go through it a second time, rolling it backwards and forwards. I'm taking a chance that it's not going to shift because I want to make sure I've got plenty of pressure. Let's take a look and see how this one did. And this is pretty warm, so I'm going to take it off of there with my tweezers. And we're just going to wave it a little bit and give it a chance to chance to cool down a little bit because we want that adhesive to hold, right? And I'll probably do another panel, so I'm plugging it back into the base so it doesn't have to heat over again. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. That is lovely. And what I love even more is that this came off perfect, which means I'm going to be able to basically do the reverse of this onto another card using a solid plate. So that is going to be fabulous. So I went ahead and did some of the sentiments too. So I did some in silver. I also did another one of those panels in silver. And this time I'm going in with the gold. Lovely. Yeah, I love these sentiments. It's just so elegant. Love that. Now this, if you put it over black, it's possible we could use the reverse if we cut it like we are the other. I'm going to give it a try and we will see, but it might be so fine that we won't be able to see it. So we're going to have to see how that one does. But for the reverse, look at that. This is going to be gorgeous. Now this one I didn't let heat up quite as much as I did the gold. And that's why we've got a little bit of underfoiling on the other. And a little extra left over here, but it's still going to be gorgeous. And I can actually put the sentiment right over the top of that. Or one of those fabulous flowers from Yana. So I will be doing those a little bit later. Maybe doing on screen, maybe not. But let's go ahead and get started instead on coloring up our pretty gold, because we have the stencils to do that. So the stencil set, there are 6. I don't know if you can see that etched on there, but there are 6 stencils in this. So 6 different layers. I'm not 100% sure on all the colors. I'm starting off with just the red and the green and the brown, because I know that those are going to be used because we've got a pine cone in here. And of course we have got our poinsettia and berries. And those are going to need those different colors. I'm also using the grip mat from Alta New. It's nice and big and has those lovely grid lines on there. And I just realized that I lined up my first stencil just a little bit off. So I've got number 1. There you go. Now you can see that one. Number 1, and I'm basically using these berries down at the bottom as a guide to help me figure out exactly where, because it doesn't, my image is not covering a full panel, right? So I want to make sure it's lined up right. And there we go. It looks like everything's about right. And if it's not completely perfect, that is totally fine too. This is handmade, not Hallmark. Okay, now I'm going to take in some red. I've got some bee sting. I've actually got a couple of brushes here for each of the colors so that I've got a larger one and a smaller one. I did have a smaller one for the red. I will find it in a minute. I'm going to start off with this one though, and just cover all of those areas. And I know I'm supposed to go with red because I've got the little berries. I'm also going to try to keep the color closer to the center on my flowers. And let them fade out a little bit to the outside. It's a little bit difficult to do with such a large brush, but you can always use a smaller one. And I know I have one somewhere. Okay, so let's take up that first layer and see how that one looks. Actually, I want some more darker red in that corner. I need to re-ink my ink pad. Okay, there we go. So that is looking good. I'm going to put this off to the side, and then I'll just rinse everything under the sink. This stuff comes, the Simon Hurley inks come off really, really easy. Okay, now we were coming in with number 2, and it's etched in the lower left-hand corner, so we know right where we need to go. And I believe the reason that there are multiples, because these are all also red, but because of the way it's cut, it makes it easier for you to get that little extra dimension by having the colors a little bit darker closer to the edge of the stencil, closer to the inside of the flowers. There we go. So I'll come back in again with my bee sting. Okay, let's take a look at that one. Yes, and you're starting to be able to see that little bit of dimension between the layers. Let's grab out our next one. Again, we've got the number down here in the corner. And we'll just line that up with the center of our poinsettias. Load up our brush and add more ink. And just sticking with that same red. You can do these in any color that you want, but I'm sticking with the traditional. Oh, these are getting to be so pretty. Okay, the next one has got those pine cones. So we're going to line that up with our 2 pine cones. And that's where we're going to be adding in some brown. So for the brown, I'm going to be using Weeping Willow. Again, from Simon Hurley. And for this one, I don't have one of the little brushes for that. I've saved those for my colors. But I do have my round blending brush, so I'm just going to use that one to add those pine cone colors in. It's also adding a little bit of brown to the center of each of those poinsettias. Okay, let's take a look. This is just coming together so nicely. Okay, this one looks like it is pretty much all of the stems. So let's go ahead and add that in. This, of course, lines up with the berries down at the bottom. And it looks like we do have some green there too. So I'm going to actually use some of both. I'm going to use some of the brown just for those stems. And then I'm going to come back in and try to get all of the leaves with some of the green. course, if you go over some of the leaves with this brown as well, then you can just add some green over the top, and that's just going to cause it to be a little bit of a different color. Okay, I think I got all of the branches. So now I'll come back in and get the leaves. And for that, I'm going to be using my later gator. And one more stencil to go. Okay. There we go. So this was super quick and easy. Super quick and easy coloring. I absolutely love the way that this turned out. Oh my goodness. And anybody would love to get this card. And this is going to be a great way to do some mass producing. So I'm going to go ahead and do some more coloring on a couple more panels. So I went ahead and I heated up the reverse for the sentiments to start off with using one of the hot foil solids from Spellbinders. There are different shapes, so you could use whatever you want to when you're wanting to use your waste foil to transfer it over. This is ready to go through our die cutting machine, so let's go ahead and do that and see how this turned out. And then see what it's going to look like die cut. That's the thing. It's going to show the letters, right? The scripty letters, and I put it on black, so hopefully we can see it. But sometimes because the lines are so fine, it may not show up. So I can see it. I decided I was going to do these with black, so I can go ahead and put that one on there. Let me kind of sort of layer it over the top where I think I want it to go, because it's only going to transfer in the shape of that rectangle. Okay. So let's go ahead and lay that down. I know I'm kind of off camera there. It's got the majority of our design there. Then I'm going to put our cardstock over the top, and then we can trim the cardstock down to maybe leave a black outline, or we can trim it down to that rectangle. Go ahead and hit. I'm going to wait for it to heat back up. The platform ready is not completely ready. So while we're waiting on it, I'm going to go ahead and take out my magnetic magic mat so I can line up. Look at that. We used up all of that excess, but so that way I can line up our sentiments well. And okay, this one goes to that one, and I'm holding it up on, I'm going to actually have to do it this way. There we go. So now it's sticking to our magnetic mat, and I can position it up so I can actually see it and make sure that is outlined right around our words. This will at least let us see whether or not that is going to work for us, right? Whether or not that's going to be a cool looking sentiment. Plus now we have a little bit of foil paper if we want to use it for anything else. Okay. So now we have a glittery Happy Holidays. I think this will work. It's really going to depend on what I put it on as to how I'm going to like it, but we're going to see. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the other one, and I had to cut down my foil sheet in half to get it to fit with that foil plate. So there are larger ones. There are full front ones from other companies, but Spellbinders is the only one that I know of that has got basically the card panel, because you always trim them down, right? The right size, plus they've got so many other fun shapes. Okay, I went ahead and did one of them, and that's the one we put down. And now I'm doing the other one. And let's take a look at it. And then, of course, I've got some sentiments I want to do. You know, all the things. Okay. So this is the one with the gold against the black. So this is the silver against the black. Here's that gold aura loveliness. And gives us the perfect center for our card. So yeah, I'm going to be trimming it down mostly to get all the lines straight, and that's going to go into the center of a card. I think that is going to be so pretty, and we used up all of the waste. You don't have to waste it. So next I cut out all of our pieces for our Amaryllis etched dies. So I went ahead and cut that out. Now this is the way that this works. This is going to cut out all the little pieces on the inside and around the stem. You can, so it gives this. You can use this one and get an extra bubble layer behind it, especially if you want to layer things up. Same thing for this little guy. So I just used these two dies to cut out all these pieces. I did not use these. I also cut out the leaves out of some green cardstock that we're going to be using a little bit later. First off, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go ahead and color these. I'm going to use my Ohuhu Honolulu markers for that. Have no plan for colors other than I'm going to try to keep the darker colors closer to the base, which is why I've got them kind of sort of arranged like I did. These stayed in the die, so there I know where they are. These are basically in approximately the same orientation that they were in the die. So we're just going to go with that. And I probably will die cut these out of some cardstock as well, just so that I have a place to put everything down, but I haven't decided what color yet. And then we're going to be able to glue everything together to create our flowers. So now that I've got all the coloring, I think, done, I'm going to go ahead and start putting pieces together. Starting off with this little guy here. So I cut out the white, and now I'm going to just layer that over the top. There we go. And I added a lot of ink down. Yeah, I did add quite a bit of ink down to that backing, probably more than I should have. But that is okay. Now, where did I put the pieces for this little guy? Here they are. They're right over here. So we're going to see what that looks like with the colors added in. And we're just going to do a little bit of paper piecing. And that piece is done. Now I did put extra glue on there, so it is in the white areas, which means I'm going to put it off to the side, and we're just going to hope nothing gets stuck in it while I put together the other ones. So I cut out the large amaryllis as well, so we've got both pieces ready to go. So I'm pretty happy with this, but I think I need some areas that need a little bit darker. because some of this I really, really like, but some of it is a bit lighter, and I really thought I was going to like the lighter part better. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more color in, which is fine. You can absolutely do that. This is also the first time assembling all of this, so I wasn't 100% sure how it was going to look. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the coloring, and then we can start adding these little guys to a card. So I am just going to start assembling some things and see how everything works together. Now, I've only got one of the Amaryllis, and I've got a bunch of these embossed panels, and I just picked up one, and as soon as I looked at it, I fell in love. I love that. So I'm going to use this one that has got that blue background, and we're going to trim it down a little bit. So it's going to be 4 by 5 1/4. And I grabbed out, again, just picking one out of the things that I've got. I picked out one of my black sentiments, and that is going to look fabulous. I love that gold. So I'm going to put this onto a black card base. And again, it's just where I reached in there, and that's what popped into my hand. Just first thing I grabbed. I'm going to put the embossed panel down with liquid glue, making sure I've got plenty on there because of all of those raised pieces. And then you have a couple of different options with a panel like this and with our fun, lovely flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some foam tape. That's what I do a lot. You could, if you want, just layer up the panel, layer up your flower and just do multiple layers, and that will give you that dimension. I really love the dimension. So let's add some foam to the back. Cutting some thin strips to go behind the stalk. And that's probably enough. I'm going to go ahead and add some to my smaller flower as well. So I'm going to add both of them to this card. And part of my process is continually auditioning pieces to see if I want to change anything or if I want to add anything. I'm going to have it overhang the black a little bit, but not actually overhanging the card. And then we'll add our other flower. And I could just go, I think that's what I'm going to do. I might add some of the leaves. I have not decided yet. I'm going to also pop up parts of the sentiment on some foam because it's going to be overhanging. So I need a bit on each end. And again, cutting some really thin strips because we have that part of the W. There we go. That I think is going to work. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm taking the release paper off, and then I'm going to move the foam just ever so slightly to make sure it is on the black cardstock. This is going to be for both pieces. There we go. That is where we're going to do it. So I'm going to add some liquid glue to the center and take off the rest of that release paper. And this card is pretty much done. Lovely. So I am just assembling some cards using those panels and sentiments that we've already done and just throwing together some cards. I mean, these are really quick and easy. And the fun part was basically doing all of this stuff. I mean, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I love, love, love this panel. So I think if I had it to do over again, I would probably do most of my sentiments on white instead of on black, but hey, I think these still look fabulous. Okay, I decided I want it to come this way. I'm going to actually do this one as a vertical card because the pattern goes either way, right? And I did trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4, so it gives me that little tiny sliver all the way around. And we're going to add Happy Holidays on here, just adding that piece on in liquid glue. And I think I'll leave it right here in between those poinsettias. And that is just simply lovely. Okay, got one more to go, and then I will show you all of the finished cards. So we made a half dozen cards. First, we've got these two with the fun foil and stenciling. I think these turned out so pretty. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I love all of these cards. I get tickled, especially when I see how wonderful they turn out, and I'm surprised every single time. Can't wait to see what you guys create with this. So this one is using that gold aura, and then this one is in some silver foil. Love the shine. Then we've got the reverse foiling of both of those panels paired up with a foiled sentiment, also using the reverse. So these are basically, these two are bonus cards because they're using the waste foil. Okay, and then we've got this one using that fun embossing folder, which is an Amaryllis, and Amaryllis. Yeah, I'm probably saying that wrong. But anyway, and the flowers that go along with it, and I love how that turned out. I think that is actually the first time that I've done the paper piecing after coloring everything in, so I love how this one turned out. Paired, again, with one of our fun foiled sentiments. And then this one, I just added a sentiment right onto one of those card panels that I had embossed and colored. So anyway, I love how each of these turned out. Love that we got bonus cards from using our waste, and I'm one step further towards being done with my Christmas cards for the year. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out this other video for some more crafty inspiration. And I would love it if you were to join my Facebook group and show me what you create with this. There is a link down below. There's also, and that one's upside down. There's also a link to my link bio where all of my links for all the places you can find me. You can find me everywhere at Debbie J's Crafting Corner, but you can find my link bio down in the description. So you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.